November 13th, 2016. A Pentagon official opens his laptop to 47 missed calls. His military email is trending on Twitter, linked to the username Married But Curious. His security clearance, his marriage, his entire career in freefall. He's not alone. 412 million accounts have just been exposed. A third-grade teacher in Phoenix vanishes overnight. Resignation letter slipped under the principal's door. A famous reality TV star issues a public confession and disappears from the spotlight. Politicians, CEOs, actors, all exposed. How did the world's largest adult website become the biggest privacy disaster in history? And why did a company that was already hacked once leave the door wide open for round two? FriendFinder Networks, the company behind Adult FriendFinder, had seen trouble coming. In May 2015, a year before the mega breach, they'd already been hacked once. Back then it was only 4 million accounts. A mere splash compared to the tsunami to come. But it was alarming enough. The stolen 2015 database exposed users' emails, usernames, IP addresses, birth dates, zip codes, and even intimate details like their sexual preferences and whether they were seeking extramarital affairs. Yes, affairs. Adult FriendFinder wasn't just a hookup site for singles. It was a gathering place for anyone looking for some no-strings-attached fun, married or not. But that's not the shocking part. The shocking part is what FriendFinder did next. Absolutely nothing. See, most companies would panic, install new firewalls, hire security experts, change everything. FriendFinder? They slapped on a digital band-aid and called it a day. Their exact words to users, "We take security seriously." Those 5 words would age like milk in the Sahara. Here's what they didn't tell anyone. The 2015 breach wasn't just a hack, it was a preview. The hacker had discovered something buried deep in their code. A flaw so basic, so elementary, that any first-year computer science student could exploit it. Yet FriendFinder left it there. Think about it. You're married. Curious one night, you create an account on Adult FriendFinder. Just browsing, you tell yourself. Delete it the next morning. Crisis averted, right? Wrong. Because here's what few million users didn't know. When you clicked Delete Account, FriendFinder didn't actually delete anything. They just added @deleted1.com to your email and called it Removed. Your secrets? Still there. Your preferences? Recorded forever. That deletion? A lie, one that would cost even lives. Meanwhile, Ashley Madison, the infamous cheating site, gets hacked just months later. We even made a video about it. We are sure you would like it. It caused suicides, divorces, and even international headlines. You'd think every adult site on the planet would be scrambling to upgrade security. You'd think FriendFinder would learn, but they didn't. In fact, internal documents would later reveal that FriendFinder's password system was so outdated, they were storing millions of passwords in plain text. Not every, but just a few percent are millions of them. Not even encrypted to protect them. And one thing even worse, they converted every password to lowercase. By October 2016, FriendFinder had accumulated 412 million registrations, 20 years of secrets, military personnel using their .mil addresses, government employees with .gov emails, teachers, pastors, your neighbor Jim who coaches Little League, all trusting a company that couldn't even properly delete an account. But here's the question that should terrify you. If the first hack was just a warning shot, who was loading the cannon? And why did they wait exactly 17 months to expose them? October 18th, 2016. A 20-year-old security researcher is hunting for one thing: LFI, the acronym for Local File Inclusion. To hackers, it's the ultimate cheat code, a tunnel to any of the private files of the website, files that contains 412 million people's private lives. The researcher goes by Revolver, but his real name is unknown, like his location, but not his motivation. His motivation is where things get interesting. Revolver isn't your typical hacker. He has no dark web reputation or criminal records. is just a kid with a laptop and a Twitter account. But in the next 72 hours, he'll become either the hero or villain of the biggest data breach in history. But even he doesn't know which one yet. Here's what happened. Revolver finds the LFI vulnerability completely by accident. He's just poking around, testing Adult Friend Finder's defenses like 1,000 times before on other sites. Suddenly, his screen fills with data that shouldn't exist. User directories, configuration files, all the private data that no one should see. Most hackers would stay silent, download everything, and sell it for millions. Revolver does something unprecedented. He screenshots the vulnerability and tweets it directly at Adult Friend Finder. Yes, in public, visible to their 50,000 followers. Friend Finder's response arrives in 4 hours. Issue resolved. No customer data was compromised. They just told 50,000 people they fixed it. But the download logs would later show something impossible. Someone had already extracted the entire database at 11:49 p.m. 3 minutes before Revolver's tweet. How do you steal something before it's discovered? While Revolver was tweeting warnings, someone else was watching. Someone who goes by Peace, a name that's about to become brutally ironic. Peace isn't interested in warnings or white hat ethics. Peace has sold data from LinkedIn, MySpace, Tumblr, and many more sites. His combined victim count reaches 800 million, and Peace just found his next gold mine. The timeline here is crucial, so pay attention. Revolver discovers the bug at 11:47 p.m. on October 18th, tweets about it at 11:52 p.m. Friend Finder fixes it by 3:51 a.m. on October 19th. But Peace? Peace was already inside by 11:49 p.m., 2 minutes after discovery, 3 minutes before the tweet. How is that possible? Well, it's not unless Peace was already there, watching, waiting, and using Revolver as cover. Think about this. You're Peace. You've been sitting on this vulnerability for weeks, maybe months. But you can't use it without leaving traces. Then suddenly, this kid Revolver finds it independently and announces it to the world. Perfect scapegoat, perfect timing, perfect crime. It's October 19th, 2:45 a.m. Revolver, frustrated by Friend Finder's denial, sends that infamous tweet, "No reply from Adult Friend Finder. They will call it hoax again, and I will fucking leak everything." But Revolver doesn't have everything. He has proof of the vulnerability, some sample data, screenshots, the real treasure, those 412 million accounts that's already gone, transferred through 7 different servers, 3 countries, encrypted and exposed on the dark web. Here's what makes this genius. Friend Finder can't admit the real breach without admitting they lied. Revolver can't leak what he doesn't have. And Peace? Peace just became invisible, hidden behind the chaos of 2 public figures pointing fingers at each other. The security community is buzzing. Forums light up with speculation. But everyone's asking the wrong question. They're asking, who hacked Friend Finder? When they should be asking, how long has this data been going around? Because what if Peace didn't steal it on October 18th? What if the theft happened weeks earlier, and October 18th was just the day they got caught? November 13th, 2016. During the dawn, while America sleeps, a notification pings across security forums worldwide. Leaked source has obtained the Adult Friend Finder database. 412,214,295 accounts. Let that number sink in. That's more than the entire population of the United States. Every single person you've ever met, multiplied by a few thousands, and every one of those accounts contains a secret someone desperately wanted to hide. But the number isn't the story. The story is what happens in the next 6 hours. Just after the post, the first journalist sees the notification and calls their editor. How big? Bigger than Ashley Madison. How much bigger? 10 times. 1 hour later, someone discovers the .mil addresses 78,301 military emails in active duty, veterans, special forces, all linked to accounts with usernames like LookingForFun69 and Married But Curious. Here's the part that makes your blood run cold. The passwords. 99% cracked within hours. Not because hackers are geniuses, but because of one decision FriendFinder made in 2002. They converted every password to lowercase. I love my wife 2016 became I love my wife 2016. Component placement crackable in 3 seconds instead of 3 years. But why would any company deliberately weaken passwords? The answer involves a help desk metric that would cost them $578 million. These aren't tech-illiterate grandparents. These are people who thought, it's just a porn site. Who cares about security? Those people are about to learn exactly who cares. The first extortion emails begin a few hours after the public exposure. We know your whatever is your username. Pay 0.5 Bitcoin, or we tell your whatever is your spouse name. The criminals already cross-referenced the leak with Facebook, LinkedIn, and even public records. They know your real name, your spouse's name, your kids' schools. The email continues. You have 72 hours. But wait, remember those 16 million deleted accounts? They're in there too. People who thought they'd erased their mistake 5, 10, 15 years ago. Suddenly getting emails about something they'd forgotten existed. Imagine explaining that to your spouse. Honey, I swear that was before we met. I thought I deleted it. The government noticed something terrifying. IP addresses in the leak. Login times. Geographic data. Foreign intelligence agencies now know exactly which Pentagon employees visited adult sites, when, and from where. Some logged in from secure facilities, from deployment locations, from embassies. This isn't just embarrassing. It's a national security nightmare. Every one of those 78,301 military emails is now a potential blackmail target. Colonel Johnson, we know about your adult FriendFinder account. Now, about those troop movements. 5 hours later, FriendFinder releases a statement. 27 words that say nothing. We are investigating reports of a security incident. Users should update their passwords as a precaution. We take privacy seriously. They still won't confirm the breach size. Won't admit that deleted accounts were exposed. Won't acknowledge they stored passwords incorrectly. Won't apologize. Just update your passwords, as if that helps when your secrets are already public. By noon, the leak goes mainstream. CNN, Fox, and even BBC. Your mom sees it on Facebook. Adult FriendFinder hacked. 400 million exposed. The headlines focus on the salacious details, missing the real story. This wasn't just a hack. It was a betrayal 20 years in the making. Because here's what the investigation would later reveal. FriendFinder knew. They knew their security was garbage. They knew deleted accounts weren't deleted. They knew passwords were stored wrong. Internal emails from 2013 show engineers begging management to upgrade security. And the management response was, "It's too expensive." How expensive? The security upgrade would have cost $3 million. The lawsuits from this breach? $578 million and counting. But the real cost can't be measured in dollars. It's measured in silence at dinner tables, in empty bedrooms, in suicide hotline calls that spiked 400% that week. So what happens when 412 million private sins suddenly become public? And when the first lives start to collapse, how many more will follow? 3 days after the leak, Sarah Martinez, a third-grade teacher in Phoenix, doesn't show up for work. Her principal finds her resignation letter slipped under the door. No explanation, no forwarding address, just gone. She's not alone. In the 6 months following the breach, over 400,000 people suddenly change jobs, delete social media, or simply vanish. The leak creates a hidden diaspora, people fleeing lives that no longer feel safe. But here's what the headlines missed. The breach keeps getting worse. In December 2016, some hackers create check if your spouse cheated websites for the cost of $39.99 to search the database. Except half are scams that just steal your credit card. The other half? They record who's searching and blackmail them too. We know you checked if your wife cheated. Pay up, or we'll tell her you don't trust her. In January 2017, dating apps start cross-referencing the leak. Tinder quietly blocks 2.3 million email addresses. Match.com removes 1.7 million. They don't announce it, but if your email was in the Friend Finder leak, you're secretly blacklisted from half the dating internet. Later, in February 2017, comes the first confirmed suicide directly linked to the breach. A Pentagon contractor, 2 kids, married 15 years. His account was created in 2008 before he met his wife. But it didn't matter. The details that emerged in his farewell note reveal something horrifying. He never even used the account. Created it, browsed for 5 minutes, left. But in 2016's leak, he might as well have been the site's biggest user. In March 2017, insurance companies quietly begin purchasing the leaked data. Not officially, of course, through third parties, the so-called data brokers. Suddenly, your life insurance premium increases 15%. Your health insurance denies that experimental treatment. They don't say why. They don't have to. And here's the kicker. Friend Finder's stock price recovers within 8 weeks. By April 2017, they're profitable again. New users sign up daily. Because here's the dark truth about human nature. People think it won't happen to me, even after watching 412 million others burn. The lawsuits pile up. There are class actions in 27 states. And Friend Finder's legal strategy? Delay, deflect, and deny. Their lawyers argue users assumed the risk by joining an adult site. Imagine that. Your privacy violated, your life destroyed, and their defense is, you should have known we were incompetent. In May 2017, a security researcher makes a chilling discovery. The October 2016 breach? It wasn't the end. Friend Finder has been leaking data continuously. Small amounts, different databases. The 412 million? That was just what Peace grabbed in one go. The real number of exposed accounts might be double. But the investigation reveals something worse. Remember Peace? The mysterious hacker who vanished? Investigators find traces of his work dating back to 2014, 2 years before the first breach. Friend Finder had been hemorrhaging data for years and either didn't know or didn't care. In June 2017, the Congress calls hearings. Friend Finder's CEO testifies via video link, claims they're a victim too, shows no awareness that storing deleted accounts was deceptive, no acknowledgement of the lowercase password catastrophe, just corporate speak and deflection. The senators are too tech illiterate to ask the right questions. The hearing accomplishes nothing. Meanwhile, Revolver, the 20-year-old who found the bug, goes completely dark, deletes his Twitter, disappears from forums. Later, investigators would discover why. 3 days after the leak, he received a visit. A black SUV with federal badges. Not arrested, but advised to maintain silence. To this day, nobody knows his real name. Peace? Still free and probably still selling data. The estimated earnings from the Friend Finder leak are $18 million in Bitcoin from 2016, which is a few billion nowadays. That's about $4 per 1,000 lives destroyed. Wholesale prices for human misery. But here's the real twist. Remember how Friend Finder ignored all the warning signs? The 2015 hack, the security flaws, the deleted accounts that weren't deleted? They weren't the first company to play Russian roulette with your secrets. They were copying someone else's playbook. A year before Friend Finder's disaster, another company made identical mistakes. Same arrogance, same lies, same devastating consequences. Except their tagline was even more ironic. Life is short. Have an affair. 37 million people trusted them with the one secret that could destroy everything. CEOs, government officials, celebrities, all thinking they were safe behind anonymous usernames and burner emails. They weren't. And when that database went public, it didn't just end marriages, it ended lives. Literally. Want to know how Ashley Madison became the blueprint for the Friend Finder breach? How hackers turned "life is short" into "your marriage is over"? Check out my previous video. The hack that exposed 37 million cheaters.